in Wooville have not called in to speak to our sweet Glasgow humorous brother. And so intelligent you are. I don't know, you're a researcher above researchers in this field right now, and I just want to say congratulations for being there for such a wonderful audience of people that need to be encouraged to call and talk to you and share their woo, but the encouragement of the keys that God is giving you to open up and perk these stories for people to call in, bro, you are one of a kind. You are.
Honestly, what can I say to that? Thank you so much, but I'm just one of the team. We're all on this truth vibe, and that's why we're here at Truth Frequency. And I tell you, Granny, I've mentioned it a couple of times today, and I'm going to be uploading it to YouTube. The doppelganger call. That had a profound effect on me. That's one of the weirdest kind of stories I've heard, but weird in a good way.
Well, you were talking about it, and I thought, hey, I wonder if I can top that story by, like you were talking about ghost stories, and my daughter's now, breathing 40, so I think she'd be all right telling me, like me telling the story about Bobby. And do you want to hear about Bobby?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Go for it.
All right, so it was 1983, and I was a single mom, broke up with the dad. So, yeah, Grandpa adopted my oldest daughter, isn't he a sweetheart? And, but anyways, at this time, I was going to college and that, and I had to get out of home. So I was looking for an apartment to get into before I was going to start college, studying journalism. And so anyways, it was really hard at this time to get apartments, but all of a sudden one came up just like immediately. And oddly enough, the girl that had been living there had only lived 1 month, and she moved down to an identical apartment down the hall, which I thought was very strange. There was absolutely nothing different about her apartment other than it didn't have that spirit of Bobby. So my daughter, Ash, was, she was starting to grow up. She's very intelligent, so she was starting to talk at a very young age and everything. And she started, she would tell me Bobby was in the bathtub with her. And I could hear her talking. And I'd go in the room, and the minute I would stop, go even to her bedroom, she would stop talking. And any time at this point where she was speaking to me, she was still talking very baby talk. But I could hear her having a conversation all the time in her bedroom. But she would stop right away when I would go in. So, I would put her in the bathtub, and I'd go to get in, Nope, she wouldn't let me in. Bobby was sitting there. So anyways, one of my college girlfriends, she lived about 300 miles away, and she was looking for an apartment, so she decided to move in with us at the time before she was going back home. Well, anyways, so she also is having these encounters with, Bobby, hearing the noises. I mean, my rent money disappeared. I had jewelry disappear, reappear. And my babysitter, she lived right across the hall from me, and I'd go knock on her door, and she'd come out and walk into my apartment. Well, so many times she would walk in there, the water would be running, the vacuum cleaner would be running. There were bloody handprints on the wall. All right, and she was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. You have to bring her over to my house because it's scaring me. So several people, I couldn't even get them to come into the apartment anymore. Well, for 3 weeks straight this one time, I thought the guy above me was literally bowling, okay, because there was something just going back and forth on the ceiling. Everybody was hearing that came over to my house. But anyways, he wasn't even home. I went and told him off, and when he did get home, and he had no idea, he said, I'd been gone for 3 weeks. I'm like, I don't know. You had somebody living up there while you were gone. And so first Bobby was friendly, when my daughter was under 2 years old. But as she started getting older, he became very frightening to her. And this is when, I mean, we literally had to get out of the apartment. And so me and my college roommate and my daughter moved to another place. Well, the thing about spirits was like they'll latch on to things. And it did, latched onto a rocking horse. And I think I've alluded to it one time when I spoke to you before, that literally if you went too close to that thing, it would come out and it would get your shins. And so we have these spiritual encounters. Then I met my husband, and he was terrified of this stuff. And, of course, this is why I was giving the warning yesterday about the Ouija board, because sadly, from a young age, we experimented with it, and it went on to, I think I was probably about 20. And, I decided that was it for me, but some of my friends had continued. So we had all manner of supernatural things happening with us, and this spirit remained. And then my youngest daughter, she ended up as well experiencing. So we had to go through an entire deliverance. And when you do wake up to this stuff, and you realize, oh my goodness, you opened the doorways. And okay, coming from an extremely spiritual family, that all had insight and so on and so forth. I don't ever call it psychic or anything like that, because I'm a firm believer in the Most High. And but these entities will attack. They absolutely will. I mean, we even had blood, what looked like, now it could have been rust, but why all of a sudden was there rust coming out of the tap that looked like blood, Kev?
Yeah, that's quite ominous. The fact that the ghost, the entity, whatever it was obviously that sounds really weird, but it was obviously trying to get a foothold in the young child's life, your daughter. Almost so that when she did get to
Absolutely.
a certain so that when she did get to a certain age, that level of trust built up. And I don't know, when girls hit adolescence, I don't know what it is. It just seems like there's more psychic energy, more kind of woo goes on around them than anyone else,
Oh, yes, and both of my daughters, because of association with, certain churches, and, I'm sorry, there's practices that are going on in the Christian churches that are more Kundalini spirits, and it's more Hinduism and mantras and trances, and it's very dangerous. They have fire tunnels and all this. But this scenario, this has been set up for so many years, Kevin, you know yourself. And here we are. We have opened up a Pandora's box that only God himself is going to be able to close. And I'm going to just, I don't know if you want to ask me any questions, because I just want to encourage everybody out there. I know that there's many brothers and sisters out there that have had so many stories. Please, Kevin is giving you a platform to share. The world needs to hear. I just want to encourage you once again, Kevin. You're a very, very wonderful man. And I just want to say to your wife, Annie, or your significant other, and to your son, oh, what a wonderful family you are.
Well, I tell you what, he is developing into his father's son. I think the Skinwalker Ranch has really ignited a fire within him that, I tell you, I feel proud just thinking about it. The apple didn't fall far from the tree, that's for sure. But I'd be nothing without them. I think everyone needs a good family around them, and for people who may be alone. That's what another kind of aspect of the show and the network that I like to think works. We can all hang out together. You got the chat room at TFR. You got the TFR live stream on YouTube. You've got my YouTube. There's a Discord server. Pretty much 24/7. There's no need to be alone. There's always ways to get in touch with people in and around this show. And she goes into the Discord. She's the queen of Discord, as if she owns it. I think she's done a coup on me, Granny. I think she's trying to steal all my listeners. I think she's going to take over the show one day. But no, I
So you
just
should bring her on.
oh, trust me, I would have to press that button all the time. She's a typical Scottish Glaswegian. Every third word is not. It's very colourful, shall we say, Granny? But listen, I want to thank you because I know that the listeners really love it when you phone in. I never tire of hearing from you. I take great encouragement from what you say, despite what it might look like. You know, I'm not the most confident guy in the world. It's easy to put on a face when you're doing this, but in general, probably a bit shy. And I definitely take a lot from the positive comments that you give me, and I strive to keep doing better and keep bringing new things to the table for you and everyone else to think about. Not to tell you how to think, Granny. You know I don't roll like that, but just to keep that woo rolling, because there's so much we can talk about without any of it having to divide any of us.
Exactly. Be blessed, stay safe, and we will talk to you soon, all right? And somebody call in, because I don't want to call in tomorrow if there's somebody hasn't called in within 10 minutes.
That's
but
okay.
People need to call in and share.
You know,
I'm challenging somebody.
Yeah, we've got Kevin on the line. I like speaking to Kevin, but there was somebody from, I think it was Louisiana, was calling in. I think we maybe speak to them tomorrow. I sometimes notice this, Granny. You'll maybe see a number calls in a couple of times and it'll hang up. And then maybe later on in the week, the same number will eventually wait long enough to get spoken to. I think it's people building up the courage to phone in. And I get it. I get it. It can be daunting. I don't know why, but you know, if I was to phone,
You're like my reincarnated brother. Okay, that's how I think about it. I'm telling you, we were family somewhere down in the history.
I think so. I think so. But if I was to phone into Alex Jones, and I know, right, I've done 3 shows with Clyde Lewis, and those 3 shows are the most nervous I have ever been, and that's because it's somebody I look up to. So the important thing about that is, though, when you speak to these people, you find out they're just normal. They're just ordinary like you. So there's nothing to put anyone off phoning in. Nobody judges anyone here, and everyone's ideas are welcome. And Granny, I want to thank you for phoning in and just being you. Definitely soul family.
I'm just a middle class schmodet.
You're a woodette. That's it. That's it. I'm going to let you
Blessing, bro.
Oh, Granny, much love to you and to Grandpa, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sister. So then, brilliant. It's kind of great, you know. We've got Granny, the first half of this last segment. And now to take us out today, we're going to go to our other regular caller. Now, I never tire of this caller either. I never tire of any of our regular callers. So people who do call in all the time, I love it. Just so you know, don't ever be sitting thinking, going, oh, you know, maybe Kev's getting fed up with me phoning in. That doesn't happen. I love to hear from you. The audience get to know you better. And I think every call gets better when people call in multiple times. Isn't that right, Kevin, my good friend Nacy?
Maybe it's my hubris, or maybe I'm bombastic, but to call Kevin Baker is always fantastic to share our thoughts that continue to go on.
You need dude, you need to write a book. You need to write a book or get rapping or something, man.
Well, I used to actually be the lead singer in a band in the mid to late 90s.
Did you write the lyrics? Let me guess, you wrote the lyrics and the songs, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did have that fortunate skill of listening to the music and hear the words in the in-betweens of the notes. But yeah, Granny, really enjoy her calls too, and calling in for my little woo that I was going to give. But then you listen to other stories and it makes you think about other stories. So I'm going to possibly give you 2 if we have the time. And I apologize, my buddy's coming over with a pizza and we're going to hang out a little bit. But my daughter, my oldest daughter, her name is Infinity. And one time she came in the bedroom, and this was when I could see, and my wife was carrying her, and my wife and her come into the bedroom, and they're standing in the entranceway, the doorway, and all of a sudden Sphere is like looking up into the corner of the room, and then she's like reaching out, and then I like kind of turn in my wheelchair and look up, and I'm like, what is she looking at? And Laura is like, I don't know. And we're like, what are you looking at? And then she goes, the sparklies.
Ooh.
And we're like, what? She's like, the sparklies. And so we couldn't see it. But in our living room, one of the selling points of the home that I'm in, that the living room ceiling has sparkles in the paint. So I can't confirm or deny it's wonderful for mushroom, pizza toppings. When, but anyway, my second daughter, upon her birth, and when she got to the point of able to speak, and now at this moment I'm blind now because I lost my sight roughly 3 months after my youngest was born, and her name is Spheria. And Spheria, one time, we were having lunch, and then all of a sudden she took it upon herself to grab a small plate and started putting food on it from lunch. And then she started walking away because we thought she was, adorable. She was going to put it on the table for herself instead of being served up by mom. And then she continued to start walking into the back bedroom, our master bedroom. And my partner at the time is like, Spheria, where are you going? And she goes, without skipping a beat, she turns around to go feed the sparklies.
Ooh.
And exactly in the returning of the goose flesh as the goosebumps just occurred because there was no conversation between, because it was literally before Spheria was around that Infinity talked about the sparklies, and after about 6 years old, and this is,
that should never have come up again. I mean, there's no way that should be coming up, right?
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Dude, I've got the goose flesh here now as well, man. These stories, you see, you can't beat stories like that.
Now, this one's my own personal woo. When I was a younger kid, I was fascinated with horror movies. Fascinated because I wanted to be a special effects creator with the makeup and the whole 9 yards. Most of my entire life, I would make my own Halloween costumes, and I would get super elaborate. One year I did the Elephant Man, and one year I did Edward Scissorhands, and just really go hardcore. And when I was young in middle school, I read the Amityville Horror. Have you had that pleasure at all?
Oh, no. Yeah, I have, dude.
Of course you have.
But
Yeah.
there's something else going on that I can't tell you about. Dude, you don't know the thing.
So,
You've weirded me out, man.
are you ready for more then?
Just
because
a little bit, yeah.
I'll throw some words your way, brother, because I'm always sending you some positive energy when I can and when you come across my thoughts. But so I'm reading the Amityville Horror. One day I come home from school, and this is when I spent 4 years living in Indiana, and I can at some time give you some stories about living in Indiana and the experiences there. But I come home from school, and it was kind of a split-level house. So I come in the entranceway, you do a quick little right, left, and then you go up the stairs again. And right as you get to the top of the stairs, you take a left, and you go straight into my bedroom. So the stairs are carpeted, and when you get to the top floor landing, it's hardwood floors. So I turn to go, and I drop something, and I go to pick it up just before I get to the entranceway of my doorway. All of a sudden, I see on the ground from beyond my carpet some dark greenish stain on the wooden floor. And I'm like, what the heck? What is this? I looked down at it, and it's like I couldn't scrape it off, and it seemingly was under the wax. And then all of a sudden, I look, and it's on the carpet also. So I follow this stain from the hardwood floor to the carpet to about 2.5 feet, and it stops at the front closest leg of my bed where I sleep at night and have been reading the Amityville Horror.
Oh.
And if you remember from the Amityville Horror, the one part that really disturbed me was when it talked about the green, dark slime that would ooze from the wall.
Now, let me ask you then, Kev. Do you think that you reading about that and it being in your subconscious can make that happen in reality?
Yes.
I do as well.
I absolutely believe that we have the ability to manipulate fields.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for the period of the cycle that we're in right now, with the continuation of the calcification of the pineal gland, we would be manipulating fields abundantly.
Yep. Yeah.
Right at this moment.
I feel that you're right there. I really, really do. Right down to my very last cells, I honestly, something in me knows you're right. You know, this changing of the age, the part of the cycle, I think that's why it's almost a struggle right now to see who takes control of what flavour this next cycle's going to take. And it could be the best of times, it could be the worst of times. But the only thing I can guarantee, Kev, is that me and you will still be riding shotgun all the way through the apocalypse talking about it, won't we?
Oh, absolutely. And if it is true that we come back again and again and again, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, I'm just glad
we've exciting.
Yeah, and I'm just glad we've reconnected again. That should be something we're all happy about, you know.
Oh, we should definitely talk about those stories at some point, sir.
Well, I don't think I've got a guest on next week, dude. So how about you come on the second hour, maybe? Well, I'll check my calendar before we get going here, okay? Hang on, I'll pull it up right now.
Any time, my friend. Anytime you send me a Skype notice, if you need of me, I'm there for you, brother.
How about a week tonight? That would be the 27th, Kev, right? And hour number 2, right?
That'd be beautiful. You want? I could either call in or we can.
I'll
Skype
call you on
or
Skype. Yeah, I'll call you on Skype, and we'll share messages before then. But we're out of time, brother, and I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for being here today.